pour some juice on that first. Okay, here we go. First thing, the UK Parliament. Yes, it's all kicking off because Boris Johnson wants to prorogue the Parliament. Now, what does that mean? It means he sends them all home. He sends them all home. He's getting the Queen's permission to do it. I don't think he needs a permission. It's like a rubber stamp. And he's going to send them home. Now, it happens quite regularly for a couple of days here, a couple of days there, before the Queen's speech, usually April, May time. But he's going to prorogue it for about 3 weeks. It's his plan, which is like 23 working days. Oh, look, there's the Queen. Yeah. Now, the plan, of course, seems to be that this will cut down dramatically on the time available for MPs to block Boris from going for a no-deal Brexit, which they say there's no mandate for, there's no will for, no one voted for it. Well, we will fucking come back to that shortly, by the way. But there's mass panic and hysteria. Aaron Bastani has personally tweeted many times in protest against it, and people planning on sit-ins on Tower Bridge and all these kind of things, because they want to stop no deal. But apparently it is perfectly legal what he's planning to do. Perfectly legal. Now, I say everyone, the follow-back pro-Europe guys are complaining that it's anti-democratic to do this, but so is your desire to stop Brexit, stop no deal, cancel the whole thing. That's anti-democratic too. Now, I know democracy is mainly what you agree with. I get that, okay? But that's not how it works. Now, then they'll say, we didn't vote to leave without a deal. We didn't vote for no deal. Nobody voted for no deal. Well, it seems there's a champion stepped forward. And it is, of course, Gina Miller. Who else but the woman that we don't know who the hell she is or why she's going to court about Brexit, but she doesn't like it. Apparently this is a dictatorial move. As you can see, this person with a very wonderful handwriting. Proroguing Parliament is shafting democracy. So is cancelling Brexit. But I don't see it that way, you see, because no one really wants Brexit, apart from all the people that voted for it. But the people that voted against it say that no, all the people that didn't vote don't want it, to which I say they should have voted. But anyway, you can't win because you're just a racist little Englander if you think that, we shouldn't be a part of the European Union. You're clearly racist, xenophobic and all these things. So, Gina's using very, very leading language, and her lawyers are applying to challenge Boris Johnson's plan. Her fucking lawyers. Who is this fucking woman who thinks that she can just say, fuck you guys, I've got money, I'm going to fight what you voted for? Now, some MPs have been saying they wish to vote to scrap the conference recess. This would have resulted in 35 sitting days in the run-up to the 31st of October. So Johnson's prorogation plan would significantly reduce these sitting days, leaving precious little time to debate and pass any legislation to mitigate against the worst effects of a no-deal Brexit, which the Prime Minister has no mandate for in the country or Parliament. Now, I would like to just pull something up here. When we were offered the chance to vote in the referendum, we were told, where Article 50 is concerned, if no deal had been achieved, we would leave without a deal. It was made crystal clear. It's out there. Doesn't get shown very often, but it's out there. It's what the Prime Minister at the time said. It's what everyone was told. If we do not have a suitable deal, we will leave without a deal. We will leave without a deal. That's the mandate. That's what we were told. Then everyone went and voted, and to the horror of many people, Leave won. And since then, in 3 years, we've had Remainer after Remainer in charge of fucking Brexit. And surprised, imagine just the shock and horror and awe that we haven't got anywhere. Imagine that. Imagine putting staunch Remainers in charge of leaving the EU and not actually getting anywhere. Who would have fucking thought it? So now we've got Boris Johnson in, who, let's be honest, is no one's idea of an ideal Prime Minister, but maybe just the person we need now, which is quite horrifying. And he's going to push it through if he can. But Gina Miller, she's going to step in the way. She says, this is not about taking back control. This is about taking away power from our elected representatives and concentrating in the hands of Johnson and his small coterie of shadowy, unelected advisers. Well, pardon me, but if 70% of the parliamentarians are Remain, I don't give a fuck what they think. Their job is to run the country in the best interest of the electorate and for the electorate. If their people, the people that put them in power, voted leave, their job is to see that through, because that's what was promised. That was what was said. We will leave the European Union, and if we can't get a deal, we leave without a deal. Finished. Now, spare me all this skies falling down shit. On the radio they were saying it's already happening. The effects of Brexit. Diabetics can't get those pieces of paper they tap on their finger, not litmus paper, whatever it is, to tell them if they're up, down or sideways. I think that might be bollocks. Well, there'll be no insulin. One of the major suppliers of insulin in the UK has been like, no, we're fine, we've been stockpiling, we're good. We are good, we're sweet. Just let us know what's happening. The hysteria is being manufactured. The newspapers are full of there'll be shortages, ensuring that there will be, because people will panic buy, because people are fucking stupid. They'll be running out buying canned goods and asparagus and lying down in the aisles of Waitrose, bemoaning the fact that, you know, they don't get as many euros as they used to for the pound. Never mind that our exporters are actually loving it at the minute. Although, caveat, if they import a lot of goods to make their goods, it's not so great for them, but they're doing far better in exports, because our exports are more competitive price-wise than they ever were. But these people don't really give a fuck about that. I've seen them go like, oh, thank you very much, Brexiteers. This is someone I actually know. Went on holiday, didn't get nearly as many euros for my pound. Could not give less of a fuck if I tried. I mean, if I made a concerted effort to give less of a shit about how many euros you get for your holiday, I couldn't do it. It's impossible to care less than I do about your euro situation for your holiday wine tasting in the Bordeaux region. Couldn't give a shit. Really couldn't. Do you know why? Not my problem. Your problem. You want a foreign holiday, you pay for it. You know, yeah, I remember the glory days. You go to America, you get just over $2 for every pound and live like a fucking king. But you know what? It's finished. Good times don't last forever, guys. But look on the bright side. At least we can look forward to the potential breakup of the United Kingdom, mass starvation, plagues of locusts, hail that's fire, seas turning to blood, no insulin, so all the diabetics are getting the sugars. All these things, none of it's going to fucking happen, guys. You know what will happen? 1st November, everything will carry on like it normally does. You know, the only really good thing, though, for me, about proroguing Parliament is Twitter. It's fucking beautiful right now. They are shitting the bed. They got behind the idea of Jeremy Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn as a caretaker Prime Minister. Wonderful. Now that's not going to happen. So they're getting behind just we will legislate against a no-deal Brexit, thus illegally taking her on the. Now it's now looking like it would be illegal to take that option away. There's a legal wrangle going on with some very senior justice ministers who are saying, well, actually, it would be illegal to remove that because that's what people were told would happen, and also removing that would remove any hope we have of any kind of reasonable deal. It's all very interesting. And watching people shit the bed on the internet about it's fantastic because they're getting ever more vicious, ever more poisonous on social media. All you've got to do is go, nah, I voted leave. Oh, well, they pounce, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful because they've got veins throbbing in their heads, not realising that, as I've just said, they're going to wake up 1st of November. And the only difference to their lives is next time they want to go and visit mainland Europe, which is many beautiful countries that are worth your visit, they will have to spend an extra £15 or £20 and an extra half hour applying for some sort of visa. Oh, my freedom of movement is now hindered by filling in a small form online. Oh, what a shame. What a pity. Try going to America. There's some shit to fill out there. Hey, hang on a minute. If we're doing all these deals with America, does that mean it'll be easier to get a visa to travel to the States? What a good trade. I'd eat some chlorinated chicken for that, dude. Yeah, because I like going to Europe. Beautiful cities, wonderful people, different foods, different cultures. It's great. But I really like going to America. I've only been a couple of times. Really like it. Massive portions of edibles and just, yeah, brilliant. Brilliant. Where else could you go on honeymoon? Do a helicopter trip, fire fully automatic rifles, and see Megadeth in a hotel that has an albino crocodile. Seriously, you can't do that in Luxembourg, can you? I think we're making a very sound move here, and I'm sure I've just sold it to you. Also, I'm not sure the border thing will happen in Ireland either. I think that's a crock of horse shit. I think we'll sort that out. It's just the EU insisting on it now. And just follow some of the EU bods on Twitter. They're getting ever more vicious and poisonous as well, whipping up FBPE people into a frenzy, which is most enjoyable, most